My dog is a little shoot. I 35 female, love the booger, but my goodness. Last week, she got out of the backyard while I was busy cooking my BF's dinner for his birthday. My boyfriend Mike, 40, male, let the dog out during this time and didn't stay out with the digging jerk. When I went to call her back in, she was nowhere to be found. I live in an active city on an active road, and I naturally was worried about her. But my BF, she said, should fine, as we are well known in the neighborhood for our clockwork walks, and someone will see her and bring her back. I went out to look for her anyway, but couldn't find her. I didn't find her for 48 hours, and I was crying from the stress. She's been my dog for 7 years, and I know it sounds odd to some, but she's my girl, my bestie, and love the shoot out of her. I would sob worrying she was injured or worse on the side of the road. BF said he tried to track the microchip, but it for some reason wouldn't work, and her leash had a tag on it with her location, but BF didn't put it on her because, as he explained, she was just going outside. I have a new neighbor, a F30-something Josie, and turned out she had my dog. She found her tagless wandering her yard 3 doors down from me and didn't know her or me at all, so took her to the local vet who recognized my girl and called me. So my little shoot was returned to me. I was overjoyed and was thanking Josie profusely, explaining how worried I was, and my BF audibly sighed from behind me and said, "Well, thank frick, that's over. She ruined my birthday with that stunt." When Josie saw him, she looked confused, but didn't say anything until I walked her out. She told me, "You might not believe me, but he told me last night that you don't have pets." I was confused by this and kind of didn't believe her, but it nagged at me, so I checked our doorbell cam footage, and there it was, clear as day. While I was out looking for my dog, Josie is showing him a photo and asking if he knew this dog, and he said no, that we don't have dogs, and suggested calling animal control. I woke my BF up as he was asleep by this point on the couch and questioned him about this, and he denied it, saying Josie is trying to stir up trouble. I have my dog, so things go back to normal now. And he slipped in that he deserves a makeup day for his ruined birthday. When I told him about the footage, I could see him get really still, and then he admitted to it. He said my dog is old, she's 8. So he was trying to spare me since she will probably die soon, and he wants us to think about the future, not the past, and my dog is indicative of my past. I told him this made 0 sense to me. He saw me damn near fall apart, worried about my dog, and now I can't so much as trust he didn't have anything more to do with her disappearing. He lost it at that, saying he just knew I would find a way to blame him for this, and shouted, "You love that witch more than you love me." I told him that he's the witch and a coward for lying and not being honest about clearly not liking my dog for the past year. Then I asked him to leave. He stared at me like, "You're really going to kick me out right now over a dog?" And I said, "Absolutely," and he cussed me out and went to his place. I haven't read the texts he's been sending me, but it's been a lot of them. He's been gone 7 hours, and I have 27 text notifications from him. He's talked to my brother, Blair, who called me to tell me I hurt Mike for caring more about an animal than him, and not being able to just shut the frick up, be an adult, and celebrate my BF's birthday. I'm confused because we've been together a bit over a year, and I spoil the shoot out of him. We met because of my dog, and he seemed to really adore her this entire time. My brother, though, doesn't much like me these days, so I can't really tell if he's right and I'm the AAH or he and Mike are just an AAs. So am I the idiot? Now for a few comments. Montreal Cowboy X. Not the idiot. I'm not even a dog person, but he knew you were upset and heartbroken, and he decided for you that this was better for him. That's just jerk behavior. She's oddly merry. I'm a little confused. You said he liked her? And what do you mean when you say he was good to you before? Is this a sudden change? OP responded, "Sorry, it was just that he was sweet, really sweet. When we met, he first went to her and pet her and complimented how cute she was and how well trained. His brother is a vet, and he said that he loves dogs. He used to run me bathes, hype me up, come to events for me, and now he's like this." Now for the 2-day update. After my post, my BF showed up at my door the next day with flowers and dog treats. I didn't let him in, but talked through my screen door. He said he had time to think and was ashamed of his behavior and very sorry. He explained that he had abandonment issues and got scared when a friend put the idea in his head that I love my dog more than him. The friend, turns out, is my brother Blair. I told him I wasn't ready to deal with him yet, and he asked why not, and I explained, from my perspective, everything, sort of like my last post, and then added that he shows up without letting me know he was coming, and he didn't let me even speak, just launched into this grand apology. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean the ugly, hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person, and he loves me, and just lost his mind a little. It's one mistake, I'm sorry. He kept saying it over and over, and maybe I am a broken person, but I didn't feel anything in the moment. I watched him crying and saying sorry and basically groveling, and I just wasn't having any of it. I said we need to talk, but I wasn't ready to have that talk at the moment and need space. He begged me to let him in and only left when some neighbors came by to ask if everything was okay, and he just snapped and told them to frick off and left. Not sure what I'm even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. For now, I am just sitting on a local restaurant patio with my doggo sipping margaritas and trying not to cry. WTF. Now for a few comments. Shez Coatic Good 6599. So I am going to be a little mean and harsh here, and I apologize in advance for that, but I saw your first post before, and this update just ain't shoot right now. What you do with him? You leave him. This man lied to you in your neighborhood. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your hopefully soon-to-be ex told her again that you don't have animals. For that much, how sure are you that he doesn't harm your dog? He seems unstable and has resentment about her clearly. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean the ugly, hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person, and he loves me, and just lost his mind a little. This man is manipulating you. If he has trauma, he can get therapy, but that doesn't excuse trying to get rid of your beloved pet and make the day about his stupid goddamn birthday. He doesn't treat you with respect and thinks flowers will fix it, and if not, guilting you by his sob story. God, I am so mad for you and your dog right now, I can barely stand it. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I would not trust that he didn't put something harmful in them to further endanger your girl. This guy sounds crazy enough to do it. So here's where I will be harsher. Baby girl, woman up and dump his butt. I have a sweet partner that I adore, but if he did this, I would kick him to several curbs, and I would put him on blast about it so everyone we know is aware that he is an animal aggressor who gaslights and disrespects women. Phew, I need a freaking glass of wine after this. What a grade A jerk. I hope your next update is about how you ditched him. You deserve better, and so does your dog. Sorry this was a little upsetting, but honestly, not as harsh as I expected, lol. If this is your harsh, I think you're likely a sweet person. I wanted to address at least some of your comment, but full disclosure, some really bothered me, and I can't quite take that on yet. But I'm starting to agree with the folks in the comments that my BF is actually my ex. So here goes nothing. Maximum effort. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your hopefully soon-to-be ex told her again that you don't have animals. I think about this a lot. Josie is a kind human, and I now know that she's a lifelong dog lover and adopter. She just lost both her Labradors very suddenly, and my booger also loves her a lot and gets all excited anytime she walks by my house, which turns out is a lot, as she walks to clear her head when her job gets too stressful. In my mind, I have rolled every scenario of where my dog was and what happened to her the whole time I couldn't find her. My brain went in dark directions, and I was a wreck, and my BF was just so dismissive of my concerns. I mean, she could have been run over by a car, eaten something that could make her horribly sick, anything. Playing it back now, remembering all he said and did during this time. I just don't like this guy, and I have a hard time ever trusting him again. I am getting to the vengeful part of my brain, and I can't even start. Tequila is a hell of a thing, and I think it's contributing to me wanting to do things I would never dream to most of the time. As I sit here with my baby, my sweet girl, who looks at me with such unfiltered love and devotion, I can't imagine trusting her with a man who cared so little about her that he would toss her to fate. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I tossed them out, like dumpster out. I sadly had the same concern. I forgot to mention in my post, but he tried to call my dog over and open the door to give her the treats, so the box was opened when I opened the first door to speak to him. I have no way of knowing for sure if he wants to see her harmed, so I don't know what's in that box, so I tossed it. Phew, I need a freaking glass of wine after this. Baby girl, tequila, trust me, lol. Now for some comments. No, hell no. You can't still be entertaining the idea of taking this guy back, right? Right? And what the shoot is with your freaking brother. What is this guy's damage? Blair and I used to be close, but I am queer and came out over 5 years ago, and he also came out as a hater. I can't really get into it all because it is a lot, but suffice it to say, our relationship went downhill when his bigotry started to show. I guess that makes me an idiot, because when he introduced me to my BF, I should have been suspicious. He was so supportive of us, and my BF was sweet and kind, and never had a problem with my open queerness, and never got insecure or weird about it. He came with me to Pride events and would post about it on social media. We wore matching rainbow outfits in the works. Now I don't trust it. Now for the 3-week update. Hi, it's your super messy friend with her super weenie ex. Not super weenie in the fun sense. I don't much want to get into it, but kinda need to vent to. And most of you have been really helpful, insightful, kind. So Mike has been weaving the narrative that I am mentally ill. He knows I suffer from depression and PTSD, and for whatever reason, he is saying I am a misdiagnosed schizophrenic. It was relentless, and Blair and Dad have been backing him. It got to the point that I had had enough and hired a lawyer. Cease and desists, and 1 restraining order. My father is such a psycho. Long story, later, and Mike is back on my doorstep. He is now demanding that Booger is his dog too, and he has rights to her, and he is worried about her safety with such a mentally unstable parent, me, it seems. So I said, oh, did I mention this is all through the door cam, that I now have footage again of him being the unstable one and his weird manipulative threat on top of me having actual footage of him saying he doesn't even have a pet would debunk him. I don't know all of what happened because the feed cut out, but it looks like the man lost his freaking mind and dismantled my ring cam. At least without my other cameras, he did not know were then installed, showing him doing so. Good thing I have a lawyer. Now for some relevant comments. Messy? Please, save the disparaging comments for the venerable dog you named Booger. I mean, no disrespect. I expect you to continue to use self-deprecating humor. Good thing I have a lawyer. That you say nothing about the lawyer, just that this is an asset, tells me you are nowhere close to mentally unstable. I assume you told your attorney precisely why he's an ex. Sounds like things are still messy and stressful, but it's good that you're taking steps to protect yourself with the lawyer and additional cameras. Hang in there and keep us updated. Now for the 1.5-week update. This is going to be long because I am so freaking livid. Mike is making breaking up utter hell and stole my dog. Now I've had to move for my and my dog's safety. Has it even been 2 weeks? But now this. A single freaking day after my last post, I was packing up for an impromptu trip. Aria was taking me on, partly to help me relax, and partly to get me the hell out of that damn house, so my father, brother, and ex would not know where I was. As such, I got Booger to the groomers. We planned to be away a while, and she was due anyway. I thought I was being a responsible dog mom, and I'm an idiot because I was so frazzled about everything else, I completely forgot to tell them that Mike is not permitted anymore to pick her up. So I go to run errands while Booger got her spa treatments. Don't you dare judge me. She deserves a spa treatment every once in a while. Being a couch potato is stressful, grueling work, you know, and when I return, I am told by the front desk that your husband picked her up. I swear to you, my voice simply stopped existing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just crumpled to the ground and sobbed. He knew the groomer, knew the staff. He would sometimes pick her up for me back when we were together, and I didn't protect my baby by preempting this. How could I have been so stupid? His life mission is getting rid of her. It should have been one of the first things I did. I removed him everywhere else, and I don't know how I missed this. The staff had come around the desk to help me to a chair, and I just wailed. I think I managed to say enough. The police were called, and I could barely speak even to them. They asked if there was someone I could call. Any family, and I cried more. I have no one. If anything, my father and maybe my brother would help Mike do this. I managed to think and call Aria, and she was on her way, but it was then I looked at my phone. He had texted me. The fricker actually texted me. Starting with, "Hi baby," as if everything that happened in all this time was absolutely non-existent. He said not to worry. He has Booger as he picked her up for you, and he is cooking us dinner at his, and I can pick her up after dinner. Then he ended it with, "Love you." It was so unbelievable, I could only just show the cops. One of them asked if they could look through my chat history, and I said yes, and unlocked all the features, and she did. I had forgotten all the hurtful, manipulative, and awful things that moron texted me, because the cop just pulled a colleague aside and showed him the screen a few times. I saw him look back at me a couple of times, and he left the building. When he returned, he asked me if I had called the police about Mike before, and I said yes. He went through all the times I called in, and I confirmed and told him some of it verbally then. Aria arrived, and she gave her own rendition of the situation and stuck it to them that we did everything we were supposed to do by calling them about this, and we were told they would not help. If Booger is hurt, she will raise an unholy inferno over their useless department. She started to take charge in the absence of my ability to, and asked what they planned to do. They needed paperwork. Booger's papers are all in my name, and the groomer is attached to the vet who provided the adoption and intake paperwork of Booger, which proved I was her sole owner legally. The police went to his home to get Booger, and what I understand to have happened, because I was not there and was only told the official story, Mike let them in, showed the dinner he made. He seemed confused and didn't understand why the police were involved. He made it out that we had a bad spat, but were working it out, but I am mentally unstable and heavily medicated, and I told him of the groomer's appointment and asked him to pick my dog up. They asked where Booger was, and he said he didn't have her anymore, as my family picked her up so that he and I can have a private, intimate night to make up and work on our relationship. I was home waiting, and I had to deal with another cop coming by and asking me about my mental health and if I am a danger to myself or anyone, because Mike said that he is concerned that I am unpredictable and hurtful. Once again, I showed the texts and some footage of it being the polar opposite, and once again I explained that all of what I was showing him and more I've already turned over to the police. By now, I had reached my lawyer, who advised I answer any and all questions pertaining to this specific situation, getting my dog back, and nothing more, so I shut up and simply provided info necessary to this. They found Booger at Blair's, but now Blair had his own story, that I was mentally unstable and unable to care for her, so I asked him to take Booger to a shelter, as I didn't have the heart to do it myself. He couldn't provide any proof, so they took Booger with them and brought her home. Booger came for me immediately, straining against the leash to get to me, and I cried on my front step, apologizing to her as if she understood what all just happened. But she was happy and excited. I bet she loved being in a cop cruiser. She just was happy to be alive, per usual. The policewoman who handed me her leash gave us information on where to get the paperwork about today's events and said she cannot offer me legal advice, but to be sure to lock everything up tonight and to call if anything happens. I did take Booger to the vet, and the tests that have come back show she is perfectly fine. I've now packed up the majority of my house, and what is not in storage has been moved to Aria's. I am working on preparing to sell it. I can't even imagine going back to that damn place. Mike left me a voicemail lamenting that I sicked the police on him when all he ever tried to do was love me. How patient he has been with my mental illness and my obsession with my mutt. But he now is seeing that my father was right. I don't deserve him. I will never find anyone like him who will love me because I don't deserve love. And when I realize what I've lost, all due to my self-centered attitude, I better hope he hasn't moved on. But he's there if I ever decide to grow up and be a real woman and try to fix this with him. But he's not going to wait around forever. An emergency protective order was pushed through thanks to my lawyer. From Mike and Blair, Blair was stupid enough to blow up my phone after the police took Booger to berate me. I don't know what he said, as I just forwarded everything to my lawyer, but either apparently was enough. My father lost it, I'm told, but I wouldn't know. He doesn't know where I am and has no way to reach me now. Mike is trying to reverse my domestic abuse complaints and say I am the one harassing him, and that's why he fled to his place. He maintains that I asked him to take Booger, and Blair is backing him up. My lawyer says not to worry because no one is taking the claim seriously since we have so much overwhelming documentation of both of them harassing me. I've been at Arya's and we are taking the trip tomorrow. Booger is a road dog and loves car rides, so I know she will be very excited. The city we are going to is incredibly dog-friendly, so she will be with us every step of the way. I'm not letting her out of my sight. Arya helped me go through every bit of info and make sure Mike is removed off everything now. All Booger's appointments, all my medical paperwork, all package sign-offs, you name it, all mail and packages are being rerouted to Arya's, and Mike doesn't know where that is. She has another home she rents out as an Airbnb, so once the current tenants are out, she is setting me up to stay there until I find a new job out of town and move. I'm just glad to have her with me right now because I haven't been able to sleep. I have barely been able to even be around food, let alone eat it. Booger was gone for maybe a total of 5 hours as a whole, but I swear to God, it was like a lifetime. I've set virtual appointments with my counseling team and might need to get something to help me sleep. But last night, Booger lopped up into the bed with me and just plopped down and snuggled beside me. I think she knows I am stressed and the only clear cure is cuddles. She's not entirely wrong. My mind is racing because what would have happened if I didn't already have a lawyer pushing the return of my dog along, or Arya, who was speaking up for me when I was a useless blob on the floor crying and accomplishing absolutely nothing. I feel like a failure because it was the time for me to get things done, and all I did was cry like a child. Booger deserves better than me. What if he had decided in those hours to just get rid of her or do worse to her? What was his whole plan, and why would Blair help him? I know he hates me, but Jesus Christ. All I know for now is I am no contact with all 3 of those bastards, and by the time my protective order is up for review next month, new job or no, I will have yanked every root I place down here and get out of here. Now for a few important comments. Perky Cherry said, "You are not the jerk. Your ex's actions were manipulative and hurtful. You did the right thing to protect yourself and your dog. Am I the idiot for telling my half-sister her wedding isn't the time to play family therapist?" Let me describe my family a bit. I am the youngest of 4 children, by far the youngest. I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. My mom is my dad's second wife. From his first wife, I have an older half-sister, who is 3 years older than my oldest full sibling. His first wife, his childhood friend, cheated on him way before, and after my dad made sure my half-sister was his, he divorced her. He met my mom, and a few years later they tied the knot, and the rest is history. My half-sister has always been welcome in our house. She gets along really well with all of us, and even calls my mom Auntie. Her mom, though, has always been a bit of a harpy. She hates my mom for many reasons, outside of she stole my man. My mom is a retired fitness model and current Pilates instructor, so she looks really good for her age, while she's more average and plump. So she would always make snarky remarks like, "Oh, did you gain weight?" or "Are you pregnant again?" Even though my mom never stopped taking care of herself. With me, though, she dotes on me and calls me the son she never had. With my older siblings, she mostly just ignores them. So my half-sister is getting married, and my dad and his ex agreed to split the cost of the wedding 50-50. My dad doesn't care about planning for the wedding, so he left it all to the ex and the bride. During one of our meet and greet dinners, my half-sister revealed that she also invited my dad's estranged brother and parents. I can still remember my dad shooting a glare of pure anger at her. I asked my mom later why he reacted like that. I never met my uncle or grandparents on my dad's side, but from how my mom spoke, my dad's ex cheated on him with his brother, and his parents knew it for years before confessing. So my half-sister could really have been my aunt or something if the sperm chase went wrong. My dad's ex was together with my dad's brother for a while after she and my dad divorced, but split soon after. And my dad refused to forgive his family for fooling him like that, and he went no contact with them for 25 years. So back to the dinner. My dad asked in a very stern yet quiet voice why she would, and my half-sister wanted to make her wedding more meaningful by also having a family reunion. And her mother supported her. She told my dad to bury the hatchet, at least for her daughter. My dad said she didn't have any right to tell him how to act. On her way out, my dad's ex and I bumped into each other, and she commented to me how she hoped that I wouldn't have a chip on my shoulder like my dad does. If not for that, they could still be one whole, happy family. I didn't like her tone and reminded her that she was the one who cheated and broke the family, and I told her that she could have been my mom. The last part made her cry like crazy as she ran out of the house. My dad asked me what happened, and I told him, and he just grunted. Did I go too far? Now for some comments. Assistance, OK3669 said, NTA, she constantly talks shoot about your mom, makes a snarky comment about your dad, and you responded. Oh well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I'm shocked that your dad is still going to the wedding though. How mature of him. OP replied, well, my dad is struggling with that at the moment. He really doesn't want to see his brother and parents because he says there are lines that family don't cross. Imaginary Scallion 371 said, NTA, your dad didn't grunt. He had to act like he disliked what you said so you don't do it again. But on the inside, he probably was happy you one-upped her. OP replied, maybe. He didn't say anything else after and just left. Now for the 2-day update. Wow, I didn't expect so much response for my first ever post on Reddit. Thank you so much for all your comments. I am glad that at least I wasn't being cruel. My dad's ex just bawled so much, and suddenly that I thought I did something awful, and I was worried. As of now, I don't really know what my dad is going to do. I know that my mom and dad are talking about it, but he really seems conflicted. I thought about asking him, but my oldest brother told me not to. He said that I had nothing to do with it, so I shouldn't bother him. But my full siblings and I just talked to my half-sibling about what she had done in our WhatsApp chat tonight. First, my full sister tore my half-sister a new one, calling all sorts of names before my brother told her to stop or leave the chat. Then he asked her why she did what she did. Turns out that her idea of including a family reunion in her wedding was an idea from our paternal grandparents and her mom. Unlike myself and my full siblings, my half-sister regularly visited her grandparents and talked to them a lot about us. My grandparents apparently wanted to see us really bad, and her mom popped the idea. Then my second oldest brother said that while it was her wedding and she could invite whom she liked, she didn't take our father's feelings into account. There was a reason that he went no contact with them for all these years, and it wasn't up to her to try to fix burnt bridges. My half-sister then asked if he was going to pull money out of the wedding, and my sister sent a brutal message. Is that the most important thing right now, you? I added that our father hasn't told us anything. Then my half-sister said that she shouldn't have even done this to begin with, and my sister commented, you think? She wondered if she could unsend wedding invitations to her grandparents and uncle, but then her mom might pull her money. I sent a chat to my full siblings only chat if dad could fund the whole wedding if that meant not inviting his brother and parents. My oldest brother told me to can it and don't bother dad. She also asked how our dad has been, and I said that he is very conflicted and talking only to my mom about it. I then asked if her mom was okay since I made her cry. She said that her mom calmed down when they returned home. Apparently, they got into an argument when she called my dad a stubborn sob. To be honest, I think she is in a very tight spot. She can either piss off our dad or her mom. I don't know what my dad is going to do, and my oldest brother already reminded me twice that this wasn't my business. I honestly think Dad would be up for paying for the entire wedding if his estranged family didn't come. Of course, it's his money though. Or maybe he is just so angry that he might pull out altogether. Looks like a lot of you are wondering if my half-sister knew what happened between my dad and his family. She knows that they hurt him badly, and he's never forgiven them, but not the specifics of how they had hurt him. She knew the cheating part, but not the family lied to him for years part. Apparently, that's not something her mom or my dad's family discussed with her. Now for a few comments. Your sister is in a tough spot because she didn't think things through. That's on her. She faffo. Don't recommend your dad to fund the whole thing because weddings are expensive and that's not your money to offer suggestions with. Your half-sister is already in jerk. Your dad doesn't need another fool jerk making plans with his money while disregarding his feelings. Stay out of it. Her wedding is none of your business. Let your dad decide if he wants to pull out funding or if he'll fund and decide not to attend. Don't believe whatever his ex or your half-sister say about the other side being uninvited. They pulled this BS now. They can ambush your dad with his relatives during the wedding day. Another commenter said, don't recommend your dad to fund the whole thing because weddings are expensive and that's not your money to offer suggestions with. And once all the money has been paid out, what's to stop his parents and brother from showing up regardless? I think OP's dad should pay the agreed upon share and then decline his wedding invite, as should OP and their siblings. Half-sis is only concerned about the financial aspect of things. Rather than the hurt and betrayal she's caused, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, eh? Having her father's side of the family refuse to attend will only save her precious money. Then, another commenter added, not the idiot. Your dad has been so disrespected in this mess. If I were him, I would pull funding of the entire shoot show. Let this circus die the premature death it is destined for. Keep supporting your dad. Good luck. Am I the idiot for blaming my girlfriend for a bizarre prank and then finding out it was my brother? It's basically what the title says. But the weird part is, she won't ever admit that it's her. She just sort of looks at me and pretends to be confused when I confront her. Basically, every few weeks I come home and some of my groceries are missing and replaced by miniature plastic versions of themselves. Come home from work and looking forwards to a Coca-Cola? Oh great, my Coca-Cola is gone and there's a miniature plastic version. Break something small and need to tape it back together? Oh good, miniature duct tape. Make eggs and want some Tabasco? Oh great, miniature Tabasco. You get the point. Kind of funny, but pretty annoying too. So far, all fair play. Clearly my girlfriend thinks it's some sort of funny prank or practical joke, but the thing that's weirding me out is that she never acknowledges that it's her. Even when I start to get genuinely upset or frustrated, she insists that it's so strange that random objects are shrinking in our home. This all culminated to last night. Last night I came home and I had been craving something sweet all day. So Elle started baking blueberry muffins, my genuine favorite treat for myself. I get everything together, preheat the oven, and I'm about to start making the batter when I open the cabinet and oh look, the flour is gone and replaced with a miniature bag of flour. Haha, so funny. I immediately call her and ask her where she put it, but she keeps playing dumb. I start making a slightly bigger deal about it. I'm like, look, I went to the store to get fresh blueberries. I've been looking forwards to this. Can you please tell me where the flour is? She won't drop the act? Like, what the hell? Before we ended the call, she slyly dropped as if you need more muffins and hung up. Like, what the hell? I haven't called her back yet, so we haven't talked in over a day. I'm pretty mad at her over this. I went way out of my way to do something special for myself, and she wouldn't drop the act when I made it clear I was genuinely upset. Reddit, I know this sounds insane, but I'm genuinely considering breaking up over this. She clearly doesn't take my needs seriously. Do you guys think I'm overreacting? Now for a few comments. Inside Thought 3827 said, I've seen this prank on TikTok, and it's very annoying. Usually they end up giving the real food back, though. Rafa Droppa added, the not giving it back is what I don't understand. It's like she's never learned how a prank ends. I had a coworker steal my coffee mug one morning before I came in. She recently was talking about starting a prank war. Yes, it's a very laid-back office, so I went over to her and asked if she had my mug. She said no, then stuck to saying no the rest of the day. I used another mug, so it wasn't like a huge deal, but at the end of the day she still said she didn't have it, so I told her I like a good prank as much as anyone, but if the mug doesn't end up on my desk in the morning, then it's not a prank. It's literally just theft. The strangest look came over her face, like she didn't even think about it that way. I'm just like, yeah, a prank gives someone a moment of confusion and then stuff goes back to normal, not whatever it is you're doing. Bobby Pinstripes shared, when my kids are trying to play the repeating game or some other game where the objective is to piss me off, I say, I'm not having fun. Find another way to play. I say that once before I physically leave the room. Highly recommend. Afraid Quality 2594 joked, watch OP go to break up with her and it's a Barbie there. Kale Stop suggested he should invite her to meet him somewhere and have someone deliver a Ken doll. Now for the 2-day update. Turns out it was my brother paying a prank on me he saw on TikTok. My girlfriend apologized for her snide comment about the muffins, but suggested I've been gaining a lot of weight lately and was annoyed that I've been pointing the finger at her. Now for some comments. Angelic Blaze Score questioned, what I don't understand is why, even though she wasn't the one doing the prank, she still played along with it. Did she know that it was your brother? Like, if she truly didn't know, why is she responding with how it's crazy how your stuff is shrinking? GBoffL98 commented, talk about guilty until proven innocent. Poor GF. I get why she was annoyed you kept blaming her. What reaction did she need to have for you to believe she wasn't behind it? Throwaway 6545545 asked, did your brother apologize to you for almost ruining your relationship with your GF? Exciting Assignment 81 remarked, seriously lol. Over 5,700 comments of people shitting all over the girlfriend, and it wasn't even her. I Lub wondered, I'm looking through the top posts here, and I'm so confused why you would assume it was your girlfriend and continue to ask only her about it once she clearly stated that she also thought it was peculiar if there was another person who was staying in your house when this happened.